Tonight, a combustible combination. Bill Cosby, comedian Eddie Murphy, and Saturday Night Live's 40th anniversary celebration on Sunday night. There's been a lot of talk about Eddie Murphy's brief and low-key appearance. He didn't reprise any of the great characters from his old sketches, but apparently he had the chance to perform something and he didn't do it. Comedian Norm Macdonald, also a former cast member, says that he attempted to get Murphy to play Bill Cosby in a Celebrity Jeopardy skit, tweeting, "Eddie decides the laughs are not worth it. He will not kick a man when he's down." Cosby, who has been accused of sexual abuse by more than 20 women, released this statement to NBC News. He says, "I am very appreciative of Eddie and I applaud his actions." But that's not where this ends. Director Judd Apatow, a harsh critic of Cosby since allegations against him began to mount, tweeted this today. He says, "What? He's a rapist. That is not loyalty. It is choosing to support a rich rapist over 30 women, 30 victims." And he went on to say this, by the way, in case you forgot, Cosby likes to knock people unconscious and then bleep them. Then he intimidates them into silence. Cosby was played by Kenan Thompson in the Jeopardy skit, a reference to the allegations from his accusers that they were plied with alcohol. Watch.
Let's hear what this celebrity has to say about his favorite cocktail.
Okay, now this potent potables is one part of Fram pajama and then
oh dear God, no. No. Oh dear God, no. I'm very sorry. We filmed that in June.
All right, so Kenan played that instead of Eddie, and new Cosby accusers are now coming forward tonight. So I'm joined exclusively by attorney Gloria Allred and her clients, Casey and Lisa Lott-Lubin. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. What do you think? Was he protecting someone who you deem him to be a rapist, right? As Judd Apatow say, a rich rapist?
Well, I think that it's fair to say that he has nobody to blame but himself for the accusations against him. And if, in fact, Eddie Murphy is saying that Eddie doesn't want to kick a man when he's down, if, in fact, he's down, Bill Cosby is no one to blame but himself. Why doesn't he stand up and, instead of making jokes about whether or not he's putting anything in a woman's drink, then I think what he should do is come back and acknowledge each and every accusation made against him and say, I deny it, or it's true, or whatever he wants to say, but face it instead of telling a joke.
All right. Casey, can I start with you? Sure. Your situation is not unlike many other stories that we have heard from the accusers of Bill Cosby. At first, you didn't have much interaction with him. You were an assistant to an agent at the William Morris agency who was his personal appearance agent, right?
Yes, that's
And then
correct.
he started to contact you outside of the office.
That's
what
correct.
happened?
He started contacting me outside of the office by calling me at home. I had not given him my home contact information, so it was never clear how he got that information. But he was who he was. He was the agent I worked for. He was his top client. He was one of the top clients at the agency, and so it was one of those things I didn't question. And it was more in a, it was very much in a friendly kind of uncle, fatherly kind of way.
But then he invited you to dinner at his home, and he said he wanted you to go over a scene with him, correct?
Yes.
And then there was a kissing scene.
Right. Yes.
It was a kissing part at the end of the scene.
At the end of the scene,
okay.
That's correct.
And
right.
so what happened?
Well, the end of the scene was to end with a passionate kiss between a man and a woman, and I was very uncomfortable with that ending and wasn't very cooperative with the kissing part. So he had me do it several times over, and each time I sort of, would turn my head away, and he would be pressing himself against me to, come in closer for the passionate kiss. It was that was a very uncomfortable situation, and I wasn't sure,
So that part only, the kiss, the uncomfort, that was the only thing that happened during that encounter, correct?
Yes,
and
during
then
that
he invited
encounter.
you to lunch at the
Correct.
Bel Air Hotel,
Yes,
correct?
right.
And then he said that you, in his suite, he said you needed to relax. Again, that's according to you. And then he gave you a white pill.
Yes, that's
What happened
correct.
next?
Well, we also were brought wine and food were brought in, and that white pill, and I don't have exact recollection of what happened after that. What recollection I have is being in the living room and having the pill and the wine. And when I come to, I'm in the bed, and he's there, naked beneath his robe. When he answered the door, I'd like to say when he answered the door, he was in his bathrobe and slippers, which was unusual. But this was, you know, in his suite. I thought we were having lunch outside of the suite, but it turned out he was having lunch brought in. And I mention that because when I do recall waking up, so to speak, I saw the slippers on the floor. And that was just odd to me. I was thinking, why am I seeing these slippers on the floor? Lotion on a lotion bottle on the nightstand, and Mr. Cosby with an open robe.
And you wanted to take legal action back then, but
did.
you didn't. Did you tell anyone then?
I did,
Yeah,
yes.
and you left the William Morris Agency shortly
I
after.
did leave the
Who
William
did you
Morris
tell?
Agency. I actually did speak with someone at the William Morris Agency, but I sought legal counsel, and I was highly discouraged. I was told that I would become tabloid fodder, that his power and influence was far too great, that my family and I would be put under such scrutiny that it would just be, you know, devastating, and that I would have no chance to be believed. And quite frankly, at that time, I had absolutely no idea that there was anyone other than myself. This was at the height of
his fame, and you thought you were alone.
I was alone, and I'm carrying the burden of this secret of America's favorite father.
Lisa, I'm sure you felt that you were alone as well. This was 1989, 23 years old. You met him through a modeling agency, right? And then after a couple of meetings with him, and you found yourself in Las Vegas at the Hilton Hotel. You said you weren't a drinker, but he gave you something to drink. What happened?
Yeah, he wanted to do an improvisation, and he asked me to come up. So I did, and he said, why don't you, he fixed the drink and said, drink this because it's going to help you to relax. I said I wasn't a drinker. He insisted. I trusted him. He's America's dad, and I drank it. Almost immediately, he turned around and made another one and brought it to me, and I drank that one as well. Within a few minutes, I was dizzy. He's asking me to come sit next to him or in front of him. He's sitting on the edge of the couch, and I sit on the end table, and he scoots his legs, but on the sides of each one of my arms, I can feel them. And I start thinking to myself as I'm sitting there, do I leave my arms on my side? Do I put my arms up on his thighs? And then saying to myself, why am I thinking that? You know what I mean? This is awkward. Why should I be touching him or feel his skin?
And you had never experienced a blackout, so you didn't know what was going on.
I had
right?
no idea.
What do you think caused it? What do you think happened?
I definitely believe he drugged that alcohol. I don't remember anything from my experience for 2 days. That's how it was for me. I don't know how I got home. I don't know how my car got home, but everything was there when I woke up. And for me, it felt like it had been the 2 days. I don't know if I blacked that out. Maybe I remembered something and I couldn't cope with it and just shut that out of my life. It just didn't exist for me.
And John, let me just say too that if in fact they were sexually assaulted after they were drugged, if he put a drug in their drink, or as he did with Lise, apparently put it under her tongue and made her swallow it, Casey, because Casey has indicated in the past that what she wanted to do, she didn't want to take that pill, but then she thought, okay, if I put it in my mouth as he's asking me to do, then I can run to the restroom and spit it out. I can make an excuse to go there, but unfortunately he didn't let her do it. He said, you got to swallow it, is what she alleges. So that's sexual violence. If a person is drugged and then sexually assaulted, the Center for Disease Control calls that sexual violence, and this is very, very serious.
Why are you coming forward now?
Honestly, I didn't know what happened for 25 years. When I saw the reports of all the women, my husband came to me and said, you understand that these women are saying the same story you told me when we got married. Yeah. He said, but they're telling the rest of the story.
What do you want to happen now?
I'm fighting the statute of limitations in Nevada. I have Irene Bustamante Adams is working for the statute. There's a bill that
the Assemblywoman there.
Yes, Assemblywoman. She's already got the bill in place. We're hoping to get as many people possible to testify in Carson City And we have a petition on change.org, and we have hundreds of people that are signing this petition.
And that's really important, Don, because so many people are saying, well, I mean, these allegations are not proven. Well, all of the women would like their day in court.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to change the statute of limitations so that they're not time barred from filing a lawsuit and proceeding with their case.
And that's what you're fighting for, and we thank you, and we applaud your courage. We appreciate you coming on CNN. Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you
very much. CNN has not been able to independently confirm Cosby's accusers' allegations while his attorneys responded to the initial accusations. They haven't responded to more recent allegations, including the two newest ones in February. We'll continue to follow this story.